distribution of the materials, electoral materials to ensure. Don't forget, INEC cannot work alone. They have to work with stakeholders, which involves the CSO, the media, security agencies, the voter themselves. So, are you putting the whole nail on the head with INEC?
The INEC has to tell the government what they need.
Okay.
Okay? I mean, they are the organs that supervises the elections. They are the organs that make sure everything is there. They are the organs of the electoral process to ensure security. They are there. So it's like there is a crime in a state and you have a governor. I will not blame anybody else but the governor. He's the chief security officer of that state. So I cannot go beyond anywhere, anybody, or any other organization except INEC, because they are mandated to ensure that we have a clean, free, and fair election. Now, how they're going to do that? There is a whole lot of resources appropriated for that. For security, you have several of them. So I don't see any reason why they have to look the other way when some of these things are taking place.
Well, let's bring up to speed some issues that INEC faced before the election. Don't forget that 3 of their offices were burnt across the states. Some materials were lost, like smart card readers, and those were things that the offices were shut in the short time. They were able to just put that together. I'm not playing the devil's advocate right now. I'm just trying to bring out scenarios to issues. And don't forget, before the postponement, there was the issue of logistics.
Well, again,
so
who is responsible for this?
They are responsible. Okay. I'm not saying they're not responsible.
So then that is why I'm putting the blame squarely on that. I mean, if their offices were burned and something that has happened before, and you anticipated that some of these things are likely to happen again, why don't you make adequate provision to ensure it doesn't happen?
Well, if I may come in, don't forget that the security were also part of the team, because they had told security, we want security for the people, for the materials.
Yes.
And then a repeated case, even when the security were aware.
If the head of INEC is not, experienced enough, and is not a kind of a person that can handle some of this stuff, I don't see why he should be allowed to be the head of the organization. Again, you as the head of the INS, you will tell the government, I need this, I need this, I need this. It is your responsibility to manage and coordinate all of these security agencies to ensure safety, to ensure that everything you are going to do is done well. They work under the supervision of INEC.
Yes.
I cannot blame someone else.
Okay.
I cannot take my blame beyond INEC.
Okay.
Except that there is some kind of thing going on where they have to look the other way when these things are happening.
Okay. All right, we'll leave that to you watching us there. It's still your program, Governance Today, and we've been talking about issues, observations from the electoral process, the 2019 general elections that were just concluded, which every one of us participated, and we're looking at issues around this, the issues of the delay of arrival of materials, the issues around INEC, the obstruction of the process and all that. We're still here, and I have my guest still here with me, Ugera Yesuf. He is the publisher and editor-in-chief of National Times magazine based in Canada. And we're looking at a lot of United States, I beg your pardon, United States, and then we will be x-raying some other issues as well, but we'll be right back after this break, and then our phone lines will be open as well for you to contribute and tell us what you feel about the electoral process. So stay with us.
This is Ibrahim calling from Niger State, Barking Power.
Oh, this is Anita from Benin.
My name is John, calling from Niger.
My name is Ahmed, I'm calling from Kogi State.
This is Clearview TV, and this is our spread through free-to-air via Nikonsat and online.
Yes, this is Yesuf calling you from Adamawa State.
Adamala Ahmad Ibrahim.
Mala Ahmad Ibrahim daga wace jiha kenan?
Daga Yobe.
I'm calling from Benue. My name is Super Mekam. I'm calling from Niger State.
You can imagine how far your advertisements, social announcements, official notices, and jingles will go if you patronize us. It's time to take your messages far at the cheapest rate.
Alright, welcome back. We're still here, and it's still your program Governance Today, where we're talking about the post-election of the post-2019 general election on issues, observations by different stakeholders. And I still have my guest in the studio, Ugera, Yesuf, and we've been talking so much about the post-election. Let's get back to this. Let's get back on track on the disruption of the process.
Okay.
So many things, so much happened. Looking at the process with the rerun
Okay.
in Bauchi, in Plateau, in Sokoto, so much happened during the rerun. Do you think INEC should keep up with reruns? Because we talked about it earlier. What was observation basically from the whole rerun?
Well, see, rerun is to ensure that the process and no one is cheated.
Okay.
The way I understand it, rerun is a process whereby if you did not get 50 plus 1 votes, 50 plus 1%, then you have to have the 2 top candidates will have to do it again. Now, I don't see any reason. I don't see any problem with rerun. It happens all over the place. Where I am, it happens all the time. When you have so many candidates running and no one could get 50 plus 1%. So the rerun should not be any different from the original process. Again, you're not going to bring someone else from US or Canada to come and do your reruns and all of that. Is still, again, INEC.
Okay.
INEC.
Okay.
So if anything happens, I personally blame it on INEC.
Okay, INEC, you have a lot to answer from from Yusuf this evening. And don't forget the phone lines are open to you. Those numbers are on the screen. You can call in to make your contributions on what you think about the electoral process, the just concluded electoral process. Okay, let's look at Rivers. So much Rivers. Yes, I know Rivers is they're yet to even fix a date for the rerun. Let's look at the alleged military appearance. This is a democratic process, and then we had some men in uniform, in the military uniform, that were there, and so much issues came up out of that. How would you rate that?
Well, you look at the River State, for instance. You have a governor that belongs to one party, and you have a very high-profile minister that belongs to another party, and there had been a power struggle among these two people. So it is easy to assume that someone probably requested that we have to have this security entity in order for certain things to take place. And again, if the INEC, it was not such a weak entity, there wouldn't have been any need for what took place to take place at all. I believe he is a weak man, and there is no reason why INEC should have allowed the military personnel into a democratic process.
I don't, from my own opinion,
Yes.
I don't think he allowed them into the process, because from what the law, the Electoral Act says, they can only be invited with the head of the security agencies, that's the police. But from all the indication, from what they said later, it was an allegation. Military were not involved. It
Well,
was not military. Does not identified personnel with them. So,
okay.
so I
So
don't
the
see.
military were not involved?
That's it.
That,
What they said. The
that
military said.
okay, fine. But the people who were on ground saw people in uniform. Where did those people come from?
Same questions and everybody's.
Okay. Again, INS should have been able to look at the people that they have invited to come, if in fact they invited them, which is a sign of weakness, because military has no part to play in in any area of democracy. So you have the police, you have the road safety, you have the civil defense, you have all kinds of people, military people that ought to have carry out the function of what the military claim to carry out, except there is something else that we do not know and nobody is willing to tell us.
Okay, let's pick this call. Let's hold your thought there. Thank you. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Hello?
Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Benue State.
From Benue State. What's your name?
My name is Joseph.
Joseph, let's hear you out.
I'm watching your program on TV. It's a preview.
Okay.
And then it's about the electoral process. This is wrong, but
Yeah.
I want to ask because of this wrong in Kano State.
Mm-hmm.
The one returning officer from National Local Government in Kano. The result was according to the returning officer from that local government. The result was overvoting. Like
Okay.
I want to see on TV when the man was bringing the result to the special commission officer in Kano State. So to me, I see that the election was correct. So, hello?
I'm with you. Go ahead.
And so I was very confused. So I think that the INEC commissioner will counsel the election and they will decide the other person, the winner of the election, because they ordered the man to go and visit the case and the man revisited the issue for the second time. And then the election was voting again. So I imagine where the election was there after the overvoting, and so I'm confused. So to me, the INEC in Kano with the people in Kano, the election was not fair to my own understanding. So this man is discussing. I want to hear more light from this man on that issue in Kano.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. From Benue there, he's just giving one of the scenarios, one of the states in Kano, especially to tell us what happened, and especially when it came with the Gamma ward, where they had so much issue of political talks here and there.
Well, look, he talks about overvoting.
Okay.
What essentially is overvoting is when the number of people registered, when the number of people in the ballot cast is more than the registered voters.
Okay.
Well, if this was actually the case, then what do they do? What the person that has seen overvoting, what did he do?
Okay.
Because we are not going to expect somebody from the middle of nowhere to solve our problems. We, as citizens of this country, we have to protect our voting rights. We have to protect everything we do as far as the process is concerned. If you see something wrong, you may not get answer right away. But if you continue to complain about it, someone is gonna listen. So there was a case somewhere in the United States whereby there was a case of corruption during the election. We had an election not too long ago whereby in the United States we have what you call absentee ballots.
Okay.
Absentee ballots is when you cannot make it to the poll, you can send in your ballot, you vote and you mail it in. But you have to state at the time of registration that you are not going to be able to come to the poll, then they will mail you a ballot, and you send in the ballot, and those ballots, even if they are received 1 or 2 weeks ahead of time, they will not be opened until the day of that election. But we had a case where one party operative was buying vote. Now, I'm trying to bring you the issue of buying vote is not a unique case to Nigeria. This guy was actually paying people to send in their absentee ballots.
Okay.
And when that was discovered, the guy was arrested, prosecuted, and they look at the whole balloting again, and the other candidate, and in fact that case is still pending whether to declare the other party a winner or to declare the whole election from this small local government invalid. I hate to use inconclusive because that is very so
Okay.
that's the case that you see. So these sort of things, even where in countries where you think they ought to have had a perfect way of doing things, you still have some of these skirmishes.
Okay. All right. It's good to know that it's not just in Nigeria.
Yes.
It still happens across. So you still need to look up on that. Well, earlier I had mentioned that you are a publisher of the National Times
Yes.
magazine, which is based in the United States. Let's talk a bit about this is your magazine.
Yes.
And the front cover here, since we're talking politics, I see lots of issues about the nation Nigeria here. We have so much issues on one of the editions, which we have here. Can you just give us what exactly is the National Times about?
Well, National Times is a publication we started a few months ago. In fact, this is our 3rd edition.
Okay.
And we want to bring Nigerians in the diaspora to Nigeria, and Nigerians at home to Nigerians in the diaspora.
Okay.
So these are the issues that we want to cover, and we cover a non-time sensitive issue, so that if you read our magazine, you can still use the information this week, next week, and thereafter. So we cover everything. We cover politics, religion, environment, and in fact, the environment is very, very big on our scale, because we look around us, we see things that are very, 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 very dangerous to us. Yesterday we were having a discussion. I said, how many of you think pure water is pure?
Okay, let's hold our thoughts on that and pick this call. Hello, good evening.
I'm C. Joseph from Benue State.
Okay, Joseph. Okay.
I'm enjoying the program because of this.
Okay.
Because I'm not supporting any political party here on this program. But
Alright.
this man on the television is saying something that I'm very interested, because if the INEC are doing the process very clean, these our leaders, the people we elect them, you will do more for us. Because I was not fighting anybody, but when the election was overvoting on that local government, I think that they will cancel the whole result in that local government and do it again, or they will cancel it and then declare the other person the winner. But the election in that local government was overridden 2 times, and no cancellation has taken place, and the director man to revisit the document again. The man reviewed the document for 2 times, and the election was overvoted, and he tried until he take the biro and then resolve some issue, and then the election was submitted to the INEC commissioner.
Okay.
But to me, if the election was very clean and successful, that will help us, we electorate. We can vote them. They will know that if we didn't do well, they will not vote you. So we'll be very, very happy by the process of voting. But especially where when the election was some issues, and then the INEC declared somebody the winner, that will make us tired to be voting those people on seat.
Okay.
So to me, I'm enjoying this program very well. Let this man show more like that, so that the INEC will know that
All right.
this thing will make us feel very happy when we go into the field to vote. But those issues are not good.
All right, Joseph. I'm sure I'm sure the umpire is listening and they also pay attention to your submission. Thank you so much, Joseph. All
Thank
right.
you.
Okay. You've heard him because we're still talking about the
Yes.
issue of on the voting and over voting. But let's look at this, and then we'll also pick back. I think it's also in relation to what you're saying. Here in your magazine, I have 2019 election and Nigerians in the diaspora.
Yes.
The whole how was it like for Nigerians in diaspora with the whole elections?
It was very, very
From what you had.
interesting. In fact, for me, it was the first time for me to take my politics out of my living room out to the streets. What I mean by that, it used to be that you pick up a phone and somebody calls you, you spend 2 3 hours talking about this and that and this. This time around, I was actually going out, listening to people and see where they belong and where they stand. But one of the challenges I think we still have for those of us outside the country, we are still being controlled by our families and our brothers and sisters or wherever they belong to. You tend to they tend to support them. That is our problem because when you look at if you look at a survey or a poll of Nigerians in the diaspora, especially those in the Los Angeles where I live, you will find that there was a very disproportionate number of people supporting a particular candidate than the other. Now, it also goes with where you come from, which is still a challenge. But as I looked at all of that, I came to realization that if you look at it very well, it is not about tribe or your religion. I was telling you a case of a young person that had a discussion with me how he saw it. He saw it as who is going. He was supporting a candidate based on who is going to be the next president. He doesn't care who is the president now or who is going to win this very particular. He is already looking ahead. 4 years from now, who is going to be in Aso Rock?
Okay.
See.
Okay, so from your magazine, what do you think Nigerians really want to see in this magazine?
Transparency.
Okay.
Look, when you keep hearing me hammering on INEC and INEC, that did not come out of a vacuum. That is what we believe, that you have to have a very strong supervisory body to manage and oversees these elections. If you're going to be pushed around, if you're going to play allegiance to the power, the party in power, then you don't need to be there. So I'm not saying that is what happened here, but if you are a person that is going to support a political party over the other and yet you are an umpire, then you don't need to be there.
Okay.
So that is what most of us do. Look, the police, the army, ballot snatching, someone is there watching.
Okay.
Someone is there looking the other way when these things are happening. You cannot leave your house and you are being paid to go and work at the election booth and you are not protecting what you are being paid for.
Okay. All right. There you have it. The National Times magazine based in the United States. And don't forget, he mentioned that the magazine contains issues around politics, governance, the environment. That brings me back to you. In the magazine, if you talk about environment, what are you looking at? What should be the human angle issues that when Nigerians in diaspora look at it like, okay, this is what is happening in Nigeria, we can see it here in the magazine. So what issues on environment are we looking at?
What we're trying to do is to publish stories that would have some kind of impact on a day-to-day activity of Nigerians.
Okay.
Pure water. I don't think pure water is pure.
Okay.
That is my own opinion. When you look at the process, because when you say pure water, you have to look at how this pure water is processed. And the major component of the processing unit of pure water is filtering. Now, these filters are not to be permanently there. They are to be changed over and over. I remember one of the about several years ago, and I was going through Ikeja, and I saw this 7 or 8-year-old girl who had finished with his pool water, and he just looked around and put the bottle in a tap and filled it and filled that bottle and cork it and put it back on his thing and start selling. So you see, those are the kinds of issue we will be interested in. Let's take, for instance, everybody carries a cell phone. Cell phone towers are popping up in all of these communities, in villages. But what kind of environmental studies that was done to ensure that these cell phone towers are safe? Because if you look very well, you will find that in communities where you have these cell phone towers, you have all sorts of diseases coming out, affecting children, because the cell phone, they are popping out radioactive materials, but no one cares. I mean, the community is happy enough to have a towers, and yet you still have the phones that are not working correctly. That you have a cell phone tower at your backyard doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have a quality network. So these are the kinds of things that we are covering, things that will impact your day-to-day life. It's not something that we also, in every issue, will bring something that will be beneficial to you, either a supplement or something that has some kind of benefit to you. So these are the kinds of things that we are looking forward to bringing to the people.
Okay. There you have it. So much to be expected. Yes, it's based in the United States, but at the same time, it's going to be made available for Nigerians.
Of course,
here.
we will be printing this. In fact, in our next edition will be printed here in Nigeria, because we want to try as much as possible to minimize cost, because it costs quite a bit to try to ship some stuff across the Atlantic Ocean. So we're actually going to be printing some stuff here in Nigeria, so that it will be easily accessible.
Okay. We're looking forward to having lots of this here.
Yes.
And then we're looking forward to seeing more of Nigerians' activities.
Yes.
So that it's a way of carrying both in diaspora and those at home here to understand themselves and see what's happening around them.
And we are also going to bring in stories about Nigerians that has made some impact in other countries.
Okay.
Like in one of our second issue actually highlighted a 26-year-old Nigerian who is the highest paid robotic engineer based in London. We have a Nigerian who designed this remote control plane for the United States Army. And these are people that we want to highlight. I am not interested about an individual that is looking for the shortcut to life, or interested or somehow made money through some kind of means. I'm not interested in those stories, and I will not touch them.
Okay.
I will bring stories that will encourage you. I will bring stories that will make you proud as a Nigerian.
Okay. There you have it. Before I let you go, we've been talking so much about elections, and then great to have the fact that you are a publisher of this magazine, which is talking so much about governance, talking about politics, talking about environment, Nigerians. Yes, the election has come and gone. What would be your word to the president elect? What should he be doing for the Nigerian people differently from the last 4 years?
Well, you can see if you listen to the campaign as the process continued, there was a stark difference between the two major candidates. One was branded one way, the other one was bracketed in another way. Excuse me.
I see.
And I think now that you have won, you are now the president once again of the entire nation. It is better to now look at your ministers and see who has performed and those who have not performed and see if there's a need to change. You have to listen to what the people are saying. Look at the way people are appointed, who is appointed. I know the Constitution mandates the appointment of certain ministers to come from different states. Those are the things that, because the president is a manager of the entire country. To be an effective manager, you have to have very, very well qualified men of integrity. In the absence of that, then what you will find is something that is short, that is nothing, because I'm not sure how many people are complaining, because we don't have patience. We don't have patience. We want things done yesterday. And it shows in everything we do. A man starts a business today, he wants to become a millionaire tomorrow. But he does not build in a process to achieving that. You know, this is the startup company. You have to tell yourself, you say, listen, I'm going to give myself 5 years to even get to a stage of being a businessman, to break even. It is possible before that 5 years, you may have even made profit. But many of us who start a business today, if it doesn't bring money tomorrow, they are out of there. That is why we have so many businesses folding up just as quickly as they started. So as for the president, I would again look at your past 4 years, see what you have done right, and improve on those, and see what you have not done right, and find a way to bring those up. You're not going to satisfy everybody, and it's almost impossible to think you're going to satisfy. If you attempt to satisfy everybody, then you become an ineffective president.
Okay, I think we can take that from you. It's been amazing having you here with us on the program Governance Today.
Thank you.
We look forward to having you more.
Thank you.
As long as you're here.
Anytime.
All right. That's it with Ugera Yesuf. He's the publisher and editor-in-chief of the National Times magazine based in the United States. And like you heard him talk about so much, the magazine will be bringing to Nigerians what the magazine is about and how it's going to help push Nigerians what we do, even in the diaspora, and those in the diaspora to also have an idea of how our people are faring over there. Thank you so much for.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, and that's it for us today on Governance Day. Join us same time tomorrow as we bring you more updates on what's happening after the 2019 general elections. My name is Anita Patrick. Enjoy your evening.